after an eventful week one, we are back. Welcome, everybody. This is the Four Horsemen. On my side right here is Jack Hopkins. On my other side, Karlos Ortiz. Missing our good friend Nick Romeo. I'm Gil Benhamu. Jack. Welcome again to the Four Horsemen. Guys, what an eventful week one. Oh my God. Plenty of stuff to unpack here. Fantasy-wise, there's a lot of things to come out. I fell victim to a lot of really good players popping off, but we can get into that sooner or later. But you know what? Let's get right into it. Again, an eventful week one. We're going to talk studs at each position on the offensive end: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Starting on my right, we'll go to quarterback, to my good friend here, Jack. Who did you have popping off week one?
I think this one was a little bit of a surprise for me. That Saints-Packers game had, all the facets to be a really good game, but I don't think anyone expected it to be 38-3 to New Orleans. Jameis Winston was absolutely outstanding. I think people don't realize that he only threw the ball 20 times. He had 14 completions for 148 yards, but he had 5 touchdowns. He had almost 30 fantasy points. That is absolutely outstanding. And to be honest, I think Sean Payton looks really good now that he's made that choice, because I think a lot of people thought maybe Taysom Hill was going to be in. So I think Jameis looked awesome.
Man, famous Jameis, man. I can't get enough of this guy. How do you throw all those touchdowns? You didn't even hit 200 yards, and he still hit a 50-yard bomb later, too. That was crazy. Moving to me, I actually am going to go to the Sunday night game. I like Matthew Stafford. First game in L.A., blue and gold. He went off. Oh, yeah. I think he had a fantastic game. This is what happens when you give Matthew Stafford some talent around him.
Yeah.
Detroit takes some damn notes, really.
Seriously.
Man, what can I say? He had a great game. He put off some really good deep shots. That wild one to Cooper Kupp, that was just a blown coverage. That was ridiculous.
Stafford is legit. That could be the missing piece that the Rams
That's what I was thinking.
Missing.
Yeah.
3 years ago, in that Super Bowl, they could have really used him, because I think they could have potentially won it had they had him that season.
And didn't it seem like Jared Goff was just a reach for the Rams when they drafted him to begin with? I've never fell in love with his skill set, and it shows. I don't understand why Detroit made that deal, other than the fact to kind of give Stafford a new life.
Yeah.
It's they like him so much of that franchise. They want him to do better.
Yeah, I feel like he deserves that, right?
Yeah, we know we're a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
thank you for your years of service.
But moving to Carlos, who'd you got for quarterback?
So I think the most surprising result for everybody was how Arizona just completely manhandled Tennessee.
Oh, my God.
Tennessee, they laid an egg offensively.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Brown was Julio Jones was Derrick Henry did absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, Kyler Murray was disgusting with the rock.
Was cutting them out.
5 total touchdowns, 289 yards. One of those touchdowns went on the ground. Kyler Murray was absolutely nuts for fantasy purposes. Most leagues got 40 points at least.
Yeah, it was like 35, I think. But honestly, Kyler was the QB1 this week, and he looked legit. That first round, that first overall, that's warranted. He's just shown he could take them places this year.
Remember when the Cards had Josh Rosen? That was funny.
Yeah. Oh God. You know what? And if there's any quarterback that I feel bad for in the NFL, it's Josh Rosen. I think he had a raw deal anywhere.
He's
at the Falcons now.
He's set up to fail.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
You know what? I would be inclined if a quarterback gets hurt, a Matt Ryan could be on the block. Listen, Atlanta's. Their season's over. I don't care what they do the rest of the year.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I would totally put in Rosen in that back half of the season and give if the Falcons give Matt Stafford treatment to Matt Ryan. Say Atlanta, say thank you so much. We tried it. We almost got there against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Maybe you could find something with a ready-made team.
He needs a better situation. I agree on that.
Yeah.
Moving into the running back position, there was a lot of pretty good running backs that got put a lot on the floor right there. McCaffrey obviously doing what a first overall pick would do.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of others, but the running back pool, it seemed as not deep as it seemed. It looked actually like there was a lot of potential in many different places that we would never have guessed.
Yeah.
So going to Carlos, who do you have for your stud running back this week?
So this one kind of came out of left field also, because when you look at the Bengals and the Vikings, you imagine Dalvin Cook is just going to run over the secondary. He's just going to hit that next level and start plowing people, right?
Right.
But it's not him. The running back to own in that game was Joe Mixon.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, Dalvin had a 20-point showing.
He had a decent game.
He did Dalvin Cook things.
Average game. It might have been just low for his standards because
Absolutely.
he set the bar so high.
He has such a high floor.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a safe. As long as he's on the field, he's a safe play.
Yeah.
And you're never gonna not start him. But Joe Mixon was the guy on that field, and I didn't expect Minnesota to really give up so much in the ground game because I think they have a decent, rush defense.
Right.
But they gave up 127 yards and 4 carries, which is nice to see Mixon in the passing game now that Giovanni Bernard is in Tampa, and he got a nice score. That's, we're looking at 20-plus points for Joe Mixon right there. I've always been high on Joe Mixon. I think the problem with him is that he didn't have quarterback play. You had Andy Dalton for all those years. Yeah. The line is kind of a rework in progress. But with Joe Burrow there, he's not going to face 8 in the box anymore. I think Mixon's going to have some room to run. I really like him. I wish I would have grabbed him in a lot more leagues. Yeah. But Joe Mixon was my week 1 stud.
The thing with Mixon, there was nobody expected the floor to be so high. No, because we all thought the Bengals were just gonna just fall. Nobody expected them to really have this game. Nobody expected Jamar Chase to go off like he did. Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Lo and behold, he can catch the ball now.
Of course. All of a sudden, his hands don't look as stony as they do. Now he looks like he can catch balls, and he looks like he can get a lot of deep shots for him.
I will say, he's not going to get 33 touches every week.
Oh, no.
Let's also bear that in mind. So, I think this is more of not a ceiling game because I think a lot of fantasy managers were terrified of Joe Mixon this year. They didn't want to draft him because they burned him last year, and actually the year before he also burned a couple of managers there as well. You got to bear in mind, Joe Mixon has the potential to pop out 40-point fantasy games. He did it last year. So yes, it's rough, but you were getting him as a back-end RB1, sometimes high-end RB2, your second running back. If you went running back, that's a huge value right there. I was trying to take him. I would have taken him. Turned out I had a bunch of number 1, number 2 overall picks in my draft, so he wasn't on the back end, so I didn't end up getting any shares of him. But I absolutely would have if I was in those middle kind of middle of the pack. So
and absolutely. I'll tell you right now, that's not Mixon's best game of the year.
No,
he's gonna pop.
He could do it again. I think he could do it again. Moving into another part of basically the Midwest, switching conferences for a minute. Give me DeAndre Swift, guys. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not expect that game. We literally just went over this last week. Why did we think he would have not had a good game? They're playing the 49ers. Next thing you know, the Niners are just blowing leads, almost lost the game, and DeAndre Swift is having a wild performance. It's a tale of two halves, that game, and I honestly thought, look at this. 11 attempts, 39 yards. He had 11 targets. He got most of his stuff catching passes.
Yeah.
That's what got him.
That's what I really like to see.
That's what got him.
Yeah.
And if that's
PPR.
And it's a PPR league, right? Obviously, we're referring to PPR here, so I like it. I like it a lot. Not to mention, he also had a touchdown. All of his, the majority of his progress just came through catching passes, and I'm thoroughly impressed because if that's what we're gonna get, considering there's not many options on the air aside from Hawkinson, you're gonna get the ball to Swift, and that's
the running backs got targeted 20 times.
Yeah,
Jamal Williams, as well. So it's Jamal Williams actually he had a better game in terms of fantasy.
Yeah, but
because he got the score. So it's kind of but it's great to see that Jamal Williams is there and Swift is still getting targeted. I think that's what a lot of fantasy owners were worried about, was that Jamal Williams would come in and he'd be the target hog, and Swift would have to get it done on the ground. He's getting 11 targets. You can't ask for much more as a fantasy owner. So
very true.
It's what you can expect from a team that has Jared Goff as your quarterback. When his Hail Marys are 15 yards.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy because he still finished week 1 within the top 5 or 6 of passing yards.
Yeah, which is absolutely. But you know what? A lot of that has to do with the fact that San Francisco, they just took their foot off the gas.
Very much.
Kind of going in that, how much of Swift's production do you think it's he's that good, or is it the 49ers kind of just said, go ahead, take your yards?
I actually want to give more to the Lions than I thought. I would say give me about 60% on the Lions, simply because how much can you take your foot off the gas?
Yeah.
Come on, it's a football game. You got to play your best. On top of that, Jared Goff was just straight up looking at him a lot, and you see that a lot. They have a lot of flesh eaters on that defense. They're going for the quarterback. You got to get those backfield passes. Those are the ones that'll get you those yards, those positive yards. That won't get you first downs, but they will get you a lot of good positive yardage.
Yeah, if you're a Swift owner, the thing you got to be happy with is just even if the stats weren't there, targets.
Yeah.
The fact that he was getting so many looks.
Chase the targets. And I do think the only thing with Swift for me is that he is a little injury prone. He's questionable this week now. He missed out of practice and stuff. It's a long season. 17 games is a little bit different. So we'll see where it goes with that. He has the Packers this week. I really feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to go to Lambeau and just
Oh, he's gonna
absolutely
after
eat.
getting
he's
drubbed by New
eviscerating
Orleans.
them.
So
They're getting
that's why
eviscerated.
I'm a bit like Swift this week. Like I'm a little bit like like they're gonna have to pass the ball. Like I mean they did last week, but they're gonna have to pass it deeper than 10 yards.
It's always going
drop
to be
offs.
it's always going to be a negative game script.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's the thing.
So who did you have for your running back, Jack?
All right, for me, I was really impressed. I was really impressed with David Montgomery this week. Ooh. Now, the reason I was really impressed with Montgomery is the fact that he played against one of the best rushing defenses in the league in the Rams.
Yeah.
Right, so that's why I'm impressed, because in 16 attempts, he still managed to put up 108 yards and a touchdown. Now, again, people were getting him in the third round, maybe even the fourth if you were lucky. Like, he has the potential to really go off last year. He won people's fantasy leagues last year. Mm-hmm. He finished in the top 6, in PPR.
He had some blistering runs last season.
Yeah, and he has real breakout potential. So, like, he had 73% of the RB touches. He's a workhorse. That's exactly what you want. Again, as hopefully getting him as your RB2. And even if you got him as your RB1, you're really happy with that. He finished inside the top 10 this week in terms of rankings and stuff. And if he can do that against the Rams, he can do that against, when his schedule lightens up, he's going to really, I think, go off this year. So.
Not a lot of heavy run defenses in the NFC North to begin with.
No. So we'll see.
Moving into wide receiver, this one was interesting because we had like the Diggs, the Devontae Adams, and players like those expected to go and do their regular
DK.
numbers. Metcalf, exactly, but no, they were outshined by a lot of players that we did not see coming. I'll give Karlos the credit for a couple of them because he did predict one last episode. But
ding ding.
Yeah, Jack, who'd you got?
Well, just piggybacking off that whole giving Karlos some credit, I'm gonna go with my stud this week, Amari Cooper, finishing as the wide receiver one.
Stop right there. He popped off
Listen,
on me in one of my leagues.
Nobody bats 1,000.
Okay, yeah. So that was Carlos's little.
Ted Williams, Hall of Famer, bat over 400 average, which means he struck out 60% of the time. Yeah. Out 60% of the time.
No, it's true. I know. I like the whole quote. The quote last week from Karlos was that glorified decoy. So he did a great job as being a glorified decoy with 13 receptions, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 39 points. That was also in the first game, so in the Thursday matchup. So if you started Amari Cooper, you were feeling really good going into Sunday.
Thanks a lot, Gallup.
Yeah. and if you played against him, you just immediately felt super negative.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in that game popped off.
You don't have to remind me, man.
Yeah.
It happened. It happened to me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about it.
I love Cooper. I think that he's great. He's been in the league so long. People don't understand. Amari Cooper is the same age as Calvin Ridley.
I know, right?
People don't realize this. It's like he is so experienced and such a talent that I think I love Dak this year. I think him and CD are both going to be absolutely outstanding. I think they're going to have great years, and he was immense this week. So
I had a receiver from the same game, opposite side, but I'm calling the audible on this one. Give me Deebo Samuel. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's my guy.
I'm high on that Lions game.
Yeah.
And wow, he had 32 fantasy points in a regular PPR. He had 12 targets, 9 receptions, 189 yards, and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. He did lose a fumble, but he still gave some insane numbers. Wow. Yeah. The thing was, everyone expected Ayuk to come in and they're gonna go 50-50. No, Ayuk bageled. Yeah. Ayuk freaking bageled. Yeah. And I can't.
He wasn't even in.
No.
He wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
No, I feel bad for people that had Ayuk in their lineups, man. That sucks. Yeah. Nobody expected that, too. The 49ers offense is so unpredictable, so nobody would have ever seen this coming. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't expect anything from a Niners receiver to do this well, especially straight out of the gate with Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback.
There's a great quote on Twitter from Brian Murphy. He spoke to Kyle Shanahan, and he talked about Ayuk, and he said, no, it's not a doghouse. He would have got his spot completely back. He tweaked his hamstring in the 3rd preseason game, planned on rotating him. We did. And you got a big reaction to that. It's not personal. Things are a bigger deal because of fantasy football, which is hilarious because that's what people see. In fairness, Shanahan knows, he knows that that's why people are mad with Brandon Ayuk. But personally, you can't overreact after week 1. But I know we're talking about Deebo here. I think he's great. If he can stay healthy, he's legit. Every time he's on the field, he's great. You know, like that's the thing with Debo. It's just, can he stay? The guy was injured in college. He's been injured in the NFL. He was injured in high school. He was actually injured in like middle school.
You can't even say it was exclusive to Debo. The Niners just keep getting hurt.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Last season they were terrible. Yeah.
And this season they already lost some players too.
They've lost most of it. Yeah, I know. So
Verrett tore his ACL.
True. Yeah.
Going on a tangent here. Why is Trey Sermon not the guy today? Elijah Mitchell?
That's what I'm saying.
Is just going to come out of nowhere and take a running back position over.
That was so strange. Everything is so unpredictable with the Niners. I don't get it.
Kyle Shanahan makes you earn your spot. And there were a lot of experts who were quoted on saying very early on, we wouldn't be surprised if Elijah Mitchell is the guy, because Kyle Shanahan makes them earn it. He makes them earn their spot, and he liked what he saw with Mitchell. But don't get me wrong, Sermon's going to see touches because Shanahan doesn't, you know.
I tell you right now, for fantasy owners, if you got some IR spots and you want to play the long game, Jeff Wilson. I'm definitely looking at Jeff Wilson.
I like that one.
Like that.
Anyways, moving to Carlos. Who do you have for that position?
So I wish I could be contrarian and just go off the reservation, but I'm simpatico with you also, man. Deebo Samuel was the receiver that I had on my list as well.
Oh, did I steal your pick?
Sort of, but no. But we're gonna pivot though. I do want to give an honorable mention to Deebo Samuel just simply because I saw that Ayuk was consistently being drafted over him, and that's the number one one receiver to be selected out of that 49ers offense. But Debo, he was just beasting out. But here's my week one stud. Well, now that will kind of pivot a bit. And I hate this guy. I'm going to preface this by saying I absolutely hate this guy. Why? Because last year I had DK Metcalf. So who do I hate? I hate Tyler Lockett.
I hate Tyler Lockett.
I think Tyler Lockett owners hate Tyler Lockett.
I hate Tyler
because
Lockett.
I
love Tyler Lockett.
Because he can explode. And it's so unpredictable trying to figure out which game it's going to be that he's guaranteed to get 20 to 30 plus points any game in a season. You just don't know which one it is.
Of course. And then the funny part about it is that he'll go back into a random game and just put on an absolute dud of a performance, and then he'll come back and I got to trade him. No. Next week, 50 points. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
And he's going against Tennessee this week. You would think he'll eat. Watch him put up a bagel because that's what Lockett does. But here's what scares me about it. He had 100 yards. Nice. He had 2 touchdowns. Double nice. A 40-yard reception. Very nice. 4 receptions. 4 receptions. What am I supposed to do with that as a fantasy owner? And this is why I didn't touch Lockett. I couldn't get DK Metcalf where I was being positioned. Listen, all power to you. You must love gambling in Atlantic City and Vegas. I'm not touching it.
We drafted live. You, me, and Nick. We drafted live. Gil wasn't there, but we drafted live, and you guys were like, I am not touching Lockett. And I was like,
I was like Neo in the Matrix with the bullets. I'm not touching any Lockett.
No, I'm not touching Lockett.
No.
I like
that's too dangerous.
Your words.
It's too dangerous. I wish he could make me eat my words because I really want him to do well, but the problem is he doesn't do it week by week.
He should be what Tyreek Hill is.
Right.
He should be in terms of skill set, in terms of speed, but he's not.
Anyways, moving on to tight end. Well, I'm going to keep saying it. There are some players that just shock the crap out of everybody here. Carlos, I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, so just in case you don't steal another player. No, I'm gonna go off the kind of usual spectrum of tight ends because he's not solely a tight end. He has wide receiver eligibility. I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson from New Orleans Saints. Who was the beneficiary of 2 of those 5 touchdowns? It was Juwan Johnson from Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston has a history of connecting with his tight ends. O.J. Howard was a better player with Jameis Winston. Obviously not with Brady, but Winston. Although he loves to throw a deep ball, and Winston's got a cannon for an arm, he will dump it off to a tight end.
Absolutely.
And if you're in most deep leagues, you're already shallow at the position when it comes to tight ends. You're scraping at the bottom of the barrel. You might even be streaming. Juwan Johnson's the look just because I love the eligibility that you get. But it was week 1 line, 2 touchdowns from a tight end. Forget the yardage. Yeah, it's only 21 yards. But the very fact that he was able to cash in on the red zone that makes a nice, viable target down there, he's a week 1 start for tight ends because, other than the usual suspects, there wasn't much out there.
The thing with Juwan Johnson, the only issue I have with this is that Adam Troutman saw 6 targets, and he was the guy coming into the season that a lot of people were seeing as a sleeper tight end. Obviously, Juwan Johnson got the touchdowns. He only had 3 targets. He had 3 catches, and it was for 21 yards. At the end of the day, if you didn't get one of those top tight ends, you're just looking for a touchdown from your tight end.
Yeah.
Just to get you 10 to 12 points for that week. Juwan Johnson got 2 this week. My fear is he's going to be a bit up and down. Troutman might have a week or 2.
Oh yeah,
I think.
Don't fall in love with him for the season.
Yeah.
look elsewhere. Maybe
Yeah.
you could find a manager that will buy high on him.
Exactly.
If you can get something out of him.
Sell high. Maybe someone will want him. So yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys could tell, but I really like that Niners and Lions game. You want to know why? I said T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's a simple thing. It was just he's linking up with Goff just as well as Swift was. And again, you still had Jamal Williams in the mix. So Hawkinson, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 97 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me that. I honestly. And the crazy thing about it is, unlike Juwan Howard, I'm kind of sold on him for the season.
Yeah.
I think nobody's going to get the targets on the Lions that T.J. Hawkinson's going to get.
Yeah.
It's really like, wow. Like
He's their number one receiver.
he is. And
For sure.
And honestly, this can vault him into like maybe top 4
Yeah.
tight end territory.
Yeah. I could see it.
I could see him getting pushed ahead of Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, yeah.
Andrews was not good this week.
Yeah.
No, he
I think
wasn't.
that's a given.
No,
That
but like
didn't look good.
Andrews was ranked the tight end 4 for most leagues.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He was going ahead of Hawkinson.
Oh
mostly,
yeah,
so.
very much. And they were like almost like neck and neck, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would take Hawkinson over Andrews at this point.
I
It's
think I
it's
would
just
too.
simply with Lamar Jackson's preferential passing targets, but
Yeah.
Hawkinson's got the floor. I think he's even got a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I'm just gonna keep it brief. He looks great. I think he's gonna continue looking great.
And speaking of great, Darren Waller.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Walrus. All right. That's my guy
I'm
right
gonna
there.
give you an applause on that one. That's a great one.
You stole him from me in our league.
Yeah.
He was the tight end I want. I have him in every other single league because of this reason, Jack.
Yeah, I literally took him. I took him, like me and Carlos just sat next to each other, and I was just ahead of Carlos, took him a couple of spots ahead of him. I love Waller this year. I really like. I love the quote from Jamie Eisenberg was late or great. You get one of the top 3, or you just wait.
Yep.
And I went great this year. In all 3 leagues, I got Waller in 2, and I got Kittle in 1. But Waller had a third of the target share when Derek Carr threw the ball 56
Oh,
times.
he likes Waller a
He
lot.
had 19 targets. It's like the ranked 3rd most of any player. And the only thing was there were a few drops in there that were his fault. But I mean, he had 10 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He won people their fantasy week because it was on a Monday night, and it was an awesome game, by the way. But it was on a Monday night, and say someone needed 20 points, they thought that's going to be tough to get. He put 26.5 points up in PPR in PPR leagues. I think he's going to be awesome this season, and I also think there is a possibility he could knock Kelsey off. And I know,
I'm with you.
I know a lot.
It's a strong possibility.
I know a lot of people are like, well, no, Kelsey is the number 1. Yeah, okay, he is the number 1. Yeah, he is very consistent. But I really think if anyone's going to do it, Waller has the physique. He has a quarterback who loves him and trusts him.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to target him 19 times, that's what's going to, he's going to get the production he just got today. So, yeah, I absolutely love Waller, especially the rest of the season as well.
Well, boys, that was a lot to discuss. We're going to move into week 2 because we spent a good portion on week 1.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a little bit more quick fire. So this is what I like to call Savory versus Unsavory. We're going to have it's a pretty hefty week 2 schedule, lots of really fun games. So we're going to go back and forth, and we're going to just rapid fire matchups we like for certain players. And it's pretty simple. It's not like we're going by position here. We're just kind of saying what's savory and what's not savory. And it's as simple as that. And with that, I'll start with Jack.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to be a homer here. Kyle Pitts. Dallas had 9. They had 9. Their tight ends had the 2 of them, Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz, had 9 catches, 65 yards. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be great this week. Don't panic, guys. I think he's going to have an awesome week.
Do you think that even against the Buccaneers?
Yeah, they had 9 catches, but against the Bucs last week, the 2 Dallas tight ends. Yeah, I think. This, at the end of the day, it's a divisional matchup. I know that the spread is 12.5 in favor of Tampa, but it's a divisional matchup. Like Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball. That doesn't change. So yeah, I still like it.
I don't know. I feel like because he's going to get thrown into a lot of pressure. They still have a very good defense that might stack the box, and they might get to the quarterback quickly. I kind of like him kind of going more towards Ridley.
Yeah,
but,
I think they will. But that's why I like.
That's a guarantee.
I like doing these picks because it's kind of like. Yeah, some people might be off him, and that's why I'm on him. I'm still, I still see it, so we'll see.
All right. Well, you got more choices for us?
Yeah. So I also have Devontae Adams to bounce back against the Lions. That home game, I really think Rodgers is going to absolutely just dominate that Monday night matchup. So I think that's going to be great. I have Nick Chubb against the Texans. I think it's a positive game script. I think the Browns are going to go up pretty early. I think they're going to start rushing the ball a little bit. And I honestly could see Chubb breaking off one of his infamous 60-yard rushes, because at the end of the day, like, the guy has speed to burn.
Agreed.
And then I have two guys from this matchup. I love Russell Wilson to smash the Titans. We've already discussed it, but Kyler absolutely tore the Titans apart.
Yep.
I think DK Metcalf has a bounce back game. You know, as Carlos said, you know, he thinks Tyler Lockett honestly could put up a bagel, and maybe he could, but I think that Russell Wilson's going to absolutely eat this week. So
I agree.
I love him, and I love DK Metcalf. I think, like, just keep him in your lineup. Don't panic, guys. I think he's going to be great.
I very much agree on that Chubb pick. I think he's gonna. It's the Texans. Come on.
Yeah.
What can the Texans really do?
They
against
look
them?
bad. I don't think people realize this. They look. I know they beat Jacksonville, but they look bad.
What's because they beat Jackson? It's the Jacksonville.
It's because Jacksonville's a bottom 3 team too.
I know.
Poverty organization. All right. Well, aside from Chubb, I had Jameis against the Panthers. I am so high on Jameis Winston, man. I can't stress it enough. I think it's not even a matter of the yards. The yards doesn't even impact his fantasy grade that much. He's just going to get touchdowns on touchdowns. It's even if he doesn't throw deep, he'll probably give you screen passes to Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
And then he'll get you short passes. The funniest stat was that Drew Brees threw over 9,000 passes for the Saints, and not one of them was a 50-yard bomb. Jameis Winston did that in his first game as a starting quarterback.
That's a
Can
great
you believe
stat.
that?
Great start.
Yeah, and that was crazy to me. Anyways, other than that, obviously Chubb versus the Texans. I had Cooks against the Browns. See, the thing is with the Browns is they have a stellar defense. I don't know if their secondary is sustainable enough to give you interceptions or shutting down any receiving options. I think Cooks is going to do something good for you.
That's
honestly.
a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm not touching a Texan.
I'm not
but
touching that either.
I don't know if there's
it, though.
anybody from Houston that's going to give you the numbers.
That's true.
It's going to be Cooks. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's that run is not going to go anywhere against the Browns.
Yeah.
Moving on, I actually like that Hawks game a lot, especially for Tennessee. I think Julio actually has a bounce back game. Defenses, Seahawks don't have a good pass defense. This is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, they didn't improve.
I'm riding on a lot of momentum here, so I think Burrow's going to pop off on the Bears. The Bears don't have a secondary. He's going to eat.
They lost Kyle Fuller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be rough there for them this year.
Yeah. On top of that, they're not going to get. I don't think they're going to get much going with Wilson on the field, like putting it on the ground with Mixon. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think Burrow's just going to get a lot of options open. I like Antonio Brown against the Falcons. He actually had a pretty good game against the Falcons last season. I feel like that's just going to run through to this season.
Yeah.
Moving back to the Bengals-Bears game, I like David Montgomery. I think he has a very steady floor as a running back for the Bears, and that's just the most important part because Matt Nagy is not going to have Andy Dalton slinging the ball
I
like
love
crazy.
Montgomery this week.
I obviously have Rodgers against the Lions, and give me Keenan Allen against the Cowboys.
That match is going to be. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that game.
That's going to be
Oh,
fun.
gonna be
whatever
great
the
game.
over under is, I have 50 something in my head. I just saw it on the FanDuel Sport.
51.
I have 50 something in my head because I was just looking at FanDuel. I'm taking the over. I don't care what it is. I like it at 58.5. I think the Chargers and the Cowboys, it's going to be an offensive bloodbath.
Oh, this is going to be a
It's
shootout.
55.
55. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll go over easily.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So with that mind, I wish I would have took more Cowboys and Chargers. Now that we're actually talking about that game.
Yeah.
I do have savory matchups that I love. That snack lunch. Listen, I'm gonna stay on that Bears Bengals game that you were talking about. You both will have Montgomery. I like me some Montgomery, but this is gonna be crazy. I like me some Andy Dalton and Allen Robinson. Here's why. Revenge game from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think Andy Dalton. Listen, is he going to light the world on fire this season? No, this will probably be his last game as a starter.
Yeah,
If Matt Nagy really wants to keep his job, I don't know how Fields does not come in week 3.
Absolutely.
With that said, I still think Dalton has another good game left in him, and Cincinnati's defense is nothing to be scared of. I think Burrow and Dalton will have good games as quarterbacks, and Allen Robinson. It doesn't matter who the hell's throwing him the ball; he's going to eat. So
yeah.
I like that tandem to have a very good week 2 matchup.
Wait, I have a quick thing on Matt Nagy. You know what I think he's going to do this season? I think he's going to wait to start Justin Fields so that he can keep his job. I think what he's going to do is he's going to bring him in at the end of the season, and then when people are like, oh, you guys weren't good this year, I think he's going to be like, oh, I didn't have enough time with Justin Fields. Like, give me a little bit more time.
Give me
I could
that
see
would
him
that
doing
would get
something
my
like
blood
that.
boiling
Yeah,
too.
like,
That's absolutely.
I would think you have to fire him because of that.
Yeah.
Especially if San Francisco starts Trey Lance before Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And they're in a much weirder situation too.
If Lance comes out first with the weapons that they have, that's a playoff bound team. That team is built to win now.
Right.
If Lance plays and Fields does not, or Fields comes much later, you have to fire Nagy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very
San
much
Francisco have a week 6 bye. It makes me think that they might start him after that, but that's my only thing with San
so.
Francisco.
Also depends on if they can get a trade partner for Garoppolo.
Maybe.
I don't know who's taking that.
Yeah.
Who's taking that contract?
I don't.
Maybe
yeah,
the
no.
Texans.
I I think
anyway.
I think he'll beat it for the
Let's
rest
go
of the year.
back to
But I'm
Savory.
moving
Let's
on.
go back to
Yeah,
Savory.
moving on. So give me Dalton, give me Robinson. I'll take all of that. Really quickly, Aaron Jones for Detroit. I'm smashing that, and I'll take Calvin Ridley for the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're going to eat. I'll take in everybody on Tampa Bay easily.
Yeah. Okay. I respect that.
All right. Well, moving into our unfavorables, Carlos, you want to close it off real quick?
Yeah, we're just gonna go rapid fire names. Names I'm not touching: Carson Wentz, Corey Davis, James Robinson, Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not starting any of those guys. I'm not starting anybody except Calvin Ridley if you're a Falcon.
Yeah.
Listen, most of these players are guaranteed starters. I agree with Corey Davis and Lamar Jackson. I also kind of like Christian McCaffrey not doing well against the Saints. See, look, here's the thing. McCaffrey's going to have the floor. We already know that. Will he go 30 like we expect him to? Probably not. I don't think so.
I'll be happy with 25.
I think that he has enough target share. That's why he has such a good floor.
That's right.
He had 9 catches for 90 yards. That's what saved his fan. He was the RB1 this week, guys. He didn't score a touchdown.
And that's the crazy part. And the thing with McCaffrey is like the part that concerns me is the matchup, not necessarily what the offense is going to do. Will they obviously adjust to Saints defense? Probably. Do I think Darnold's going to look a little bit more downfield? I don't even know. But
I hope for DJ Moore's sake he does.
The thing is, McCaffrey's played against the Saints quite a lot, and he has traditionally done okay. You know, like he's traditionally been fine.
It just I think it just raises a bit of concern.
Yeah,
I just think
I agree.
Will he start? No kidding.
Are you sitting him? No way.
Absolutely no. Under no circumstances do you sit Christian McCaffrey.
No.
However, do I like the matchup? No. Moving on, I don't like Tua versus the Bills.
Agreed. I'm not touching
we
it.
all had this.
Yes.
We all did.
Tua is not a starting fantasy quarterback, period. Do I like, again, I don't like him against the Bills. It's just really concerning. The Bills have a decent defense. Moving on,
Brutal.
I'm going to agree with Lamar on Lamar versus the Chiefs. Nothing about it entices me, and that's concerning me because I have Lamar Jackson in one of my leagues.
Yeah, who the hell is he throwing to? And who's he giving the ball to behind him?
No, he's rushing for a 1,500 by the end of the season.
No, I feel bad for Lamar.
I do too. Going back to that the Bills and Finns game, I don't like Stephon Diggs. You're gonna have to start him. Understand? He's gonna get the matchup with Xavier Howard.
Do you like any first-round picks from this season?
Diggs is not a first-round pick. Are you kidding?
He's up there. He's definitely a wide receiver.
In some leagues, if you're in a 12 or 40-man league, Diggs win in the first round.
These are players that you do start, but I don't like because again, did you see the game Diggs had last week?
It's fair.
It's not a Stephon Diggs.
This is his Amari Cooper week.
Yeah.
This is me. I ate it last week from Michael Gallup. This is Gil's week.
God damn.
I could see it.
And then I'll just close it off again with Corey Davis against the Patriots. It's pretty straight, simple. He's probably going against Stephon Gilmore, or not Gilmore, sorry. He'll probably go against J.C. Jackson, and they're not going to have any options. Zach Wilson's going to have a lot of trouble that game, and I don't think he'll see Corey Davis as much as he saw last week.
2 words. It's Bill Belichick. It's Bill Belichick facing a rookie quarterback.
They always shut down the
And
wide
the problem
receiver one.
is he's playing the Jets. So it's never going to go well for New York.
You're not going to touch Corey Davis because you're not going to touch Zach Wilson who's facing Belichick.
It's funny that you guys have said all that because I actually just switched in Corey Davis in one of my leagues into my flex, and I'm glad that we're talking about this because now I'm going to probably go back and have a look and see maybe who else I have. So anyway, going into my unfavorable matchups, I have Mike Davis against Tampa. I'm kind of worried about Mike Davis actually. I mean, people were drafting him in like the 5th, 6th round as maybe their RB2, and I think he's going to struggle this year. Mark Ingram, I know he had 26 rushes, guys, but
26 rushes?
I didn't know.
I didn't even look at that. No, nobody looks at that game.
He was a popular waiver wire target, and I don't know why.
I don't like it.
It's the 26 rushes. That's the thing. I think people don't realize. Phil Lindsay also scored a touchdown. David Johnson also scored a touchdown. Like that was like people asked before the season, guys, wow, which Houston Texans running back shall I own? Well, the answer in week 1 was all of them because like they all scored points, but I don't like Ingram against the Browns.
If you were
I don't
asking
like
me,
any back against the
exactly.
Browns.
If you're asking me, the running back to own in Houston is none of them.
Yeah,
right.
none of them. That is the correct answer.
They're not going to have positive game script the rest of the year.
No,
that was the best game
all.
that they had.
Yeah.
That will be, and it'll probably be the next best game is when they play the Jaguars again.
I can see the Texans pulling a Jaguars last season. You know the Jags won their first game.
And then promptly went 1-15.
And then,
I could see the Texans doing it. So
yeah.
I don't like Josh Jacobs against the Steelers, guys. I wasn't high on Josh
That's
Jacobs this year anyway because of Kenyon Drake.
He's highly volatile. He had a decent game just because of the game script that they had.
Yeah, but you know what? Drake had a decent game too.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah,
and he was in for the short stuff as well.
Right.
So I'm worried about Jacobs, especially given the fact that like the Steelers have such a good defensive line. Darrell Henderson against the Colts. I think that game is going to be fun to watch, like the Rams and the Colts. But that Colts like front line is also awesome as well. You know, I think Henderson. I think Sonny Michel is going to slowly get moved more. I know he only had a touch this week, but I think he's going to get moved in more. Like he only just joined the team last week, so I think Darrell Henderson might struggle a little bit. And I also don't like Robbie Anderson versus the Saints.
I was going to say him too.
I know, like DJ Moore, you know, is probably going to be the wide receiver one, but like I was pretty high on Robbie Anderson this season, and after week 1, I'm terrified.
Because he had his one target was like a 50-yard touchdown.
It was a 50-yard touchdown. It saved his week. Other than that, if he didn't catch that, he would have put up.
Is he going to be Sam's Tyler Lockett? That's what, because there was consistency last year.
Well, he has a Tyler Lockett, and now he's going to have another Tyler Lockett.
He was in New York. This is the player he was in New York last season.
Right.
Last season, you know, with Teddy, he was fine because he was a PPR machine. He was just dropping it off. But now I'm not feeling too good about Robbie. So
yeah. Well, those are good picks. Y'all are flaming me for mine. Sorry, but anyways, we'll be right back. Coming back, we're gonna have a little fun game where I like to call Hit or Miss. Back in a second. Welcome back to the 4 Horsemen -1. We still miss you, Nick.
The 3 wise men. We'll call it the 3 wise men for now.
The 3 wise men, you know, the tantalizing trio. You get the idea. Coming back, I got a fun game to close us out with. It's going to be called Hit or Miss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give y'all a take that I have coming into week 2. And y'all going to say hit or miss. And if you get it right, because this is what I think, and I'm the main character of this show. If it's a hit, you get a point. If it's a miss, you don't get a point. Sorry, buddy.
I do like points.
All right, let's get it started. I'm gonna go. I don't know if this is a bold one or not, but I'm gonna go with this one. Matthew Stafford gets snuffed by the Colts defense under 15 fantasy points on Sunday.
You want to go first, Carlos, or shall I?
I'll step out on a limb and go first. You've had some flaming hot takes. I think a lot of them are flaming hot Cheetos in terms of I could just crush it and throw it in the trash. I don't think you're going to go crazy here. I'm going to say that's a miss.
Yeah. So for me, like when I really think about it, like we just really talked up Stafford. I'm going to go with hit here purely for the fact that the only reason is I love the Colts defense this year. Like I think they're absolutely awesome.
I do too. Their schedule I hate.
I can see the defenses kind of shutting each other out here. Like the Rams and the Colts are great, and I think like that over under in that game, whatever that is, I'd be tempted to take the under because I think that I think there could be a couple of people who are disappointed. So that's why I'd say hit for you here, Gil.
Well, you gotta give it to Jack. That's a hit.
Oh, God. I'm just going to go every hot take. Every single hot take. I'm just going to take it.
Listen, I like Stafford. I've said it before. They got a great passing game. I like the Colts defense. Regardless of the schedule, like you said, I don't like their schedule either. But they'll still give offenses troubles. We're still in week 2.
I think the line was 48. I just checked.
48 and a half.
So
yeah. You're not asking for a lot.
No. 15 points though.
You could see
he doesn't give much rushing.
No, he doesn't. That's the thing. Like, he got his points mainly off of scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Moving on. Titans specifically, Julio and Henry get back on track. Win a shootout against the Hawks.
Miss.
That's a miss.
Miss.
Yeah.
Straight
I don't like it. Yep. Easy.
Move on.
Yeah. No, I don't like it either. See, the thing is, the Seahawks are still a good team. As much as I don't want to give them the credit, they're a good team.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts both rush for about 50 to 75 yards, outlast the Niners.
I'm gonna go with hit there.
I'm gonna go hit too.
I like Sanders against the Niners. Like look what Swift and Jamal Williams just did. I mean, okay, they caught passes, so maybe rushing might be slightly different, but instinct is hit.
I agree. I think Hurts can definitely
Yeah.
maneuver around, get through.
Hurts could light them up. Really.
I think people
He could.
underestimated Hurts this season.
Oh, yeah.
I really think they did. Like
I was one of them.
It was
I
kinda
drafted him
attributed-
late in one league, and I was really happy with.
It
week
was
one.
kind of attributed to the fact that the Eagles just had a ridiculous offseason,
Yeah.
and not in a good way. Like
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni didn't give him the starting job until like maybe a month ago.
I know.
It's a hit.
All right, so we got
it's
some
a
points.
hit.
And we got some points.
All right, so we got Jack with 3, Carlos with 2, because y'all got that right on that miss.
Trust me, I'm keeping score.
You're not competitive though, are you, Carlos?
No. I'm a team player.
Anyways, so I got another one. Zeke bounces back, gives us a 50-yard touchdown and 1 touchdown performance against the Chargers.
So I know the name of the game is to get inside your head. I don't care. I think this is a miss. I'm not in on Zeke at all.
It's a miss.
Oh,
It's a miss.
okay.
We got a tie game.
Zeke is washed,
For
man.
some
I don't
reason,
know.
you were just on these hot takes today, and I'm
No,
like,
that's a miss, dog. I
Maybe
don't
Gil,
even know.
maybe he thinks.
No,
so.
that's a-
You're not as far away as I
No,
think.
listen. I'm smart, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a miss. I don't like Zeke at all on this one. All right, this one might be a lot easier. Burrow lights up the Bears, gets 30 points, all his receivers eat.
Hit.
Yeah, hit.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
That's a hit. I'll give y'all easy points on this one.
Yeah.
We're at a tie game. All right. Cowboys defense stifles Eckler, and Eckler goes for another dud.
Eckler goes for another dud.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with the score. I just specifically Eckler.
Shoot. I don't know what his injury report looks like.
He was still good.
I'm gonna go with miss also.
Oh, stop copying
I hate
me.
to piggyback.
Stop it.
I
That's why
really-
I was silent when he first said it, because I wanted you
Yeah,
to.
so all right, people at home, we have professional audio equipment, headphones, microphones. I can hear whispers even when you're trying to whisper.
I just said,
Again, I hate to piggyback, but I think it's a miss.
I think it's a miss.
It's a miss.
I like Eckler. Like,
it's a
honestly, like,
miss.
I think.
I'm not as high on him, but I
know.
don't think he's gonna. I think he's.
I
gonna
took
be
him
fine.
in-
He'll bounce back this game.
I think he'll be fine.
I
It's-
took
the
him
thing
in two leagues, and I'm like not panicking.
I think it's not gonna be as simple as we think with Eckler this week. It'll be more of the pass catching that'll
Yeah.
probably give him
Yeah.
the numbers on the board.
Yeah, that was the worrying thing. He didn't have a target.
Did he have a receiving touchdown?
No, he had a rushing
That
touchdown.
was a rushing
Yeah, he
touchdown.
went in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. So like he didn't. That was the only worrying thing, is that he didn't catch a ball. Like obviously that's why in a PPR league he's worth a lot more than he is like in a standard league. You probably don't draft him until the 3rd round maybe. But in a PPR league, like you bank on the fact
that's
that
his bread and butter.
exactly.
Yeah, this
So
is the matchup you want.
that's what I was a little worried about. But I mean, if we're predicting that Cowboys and Chargers to be a shootout like we were talking earlier,
Yeah.
I can see Eckler kind of coming back.
If my
being
team, the
big.
Chargers, didn't have a great fantasy showing otherwise than Keenan Allen, because Justin Herbert didn't have that amazing of a game, Eckler didn't have that amazing a game, they still won.
Yeah.
This might be the game that they actually do well
Yeah,
fantasy-wise. This is the game you capitalize on. You're playing the Cowboys. They don't have the best defense in the world, and Justin Herbert can light it up.
Yeah.
He can really light it up. This is a big stage for him game,
Yeah.
and like I like the chances here. I'm gonna take the Chargers on that one. This is the last one. I'm really hoping someone disagrees on this one. Steelers go 2-0 on a bounce back Najee Harris game.
Steelers go 2-0.
So I'll jump just because
Yeah.
you jumped on the last one. I initially had Najee Harris as one of my Savory starts. So I'm going to say, you say he has a bounce back game. I'm going to say that's a hit.
I'm just gonna say hit as well. I love Najee this year. Are we? Is it a hit?
No.
You have a miss. No, because for me, I think again, I think fantasy owners are panicking. Like he's a guy who I
think so
I
too.
sent out a couple of trades for this week. Same with Zeke. I sent Carlos a trade for Zeke this week. Yeah, maybe it wasn't that good.
Yeah, I don't
but
panic that way.
I know, but some people do. You know,
Yeah.
especially.
I
especially with
saw
Najee.
there was a leak. I saw someone drop Aaron Rodgers.
What?
Week 1 panics and overreactions are a real thing.
That's why someone dropped Brandon Ayuk in my other league. I know he had a dud, but it's just like no. That's stupid.
Y'all don't have camera. Y'all don't see the camera, but I am wide-eyed right now. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Who drops Aaron Rodgers? Are you
Can
kidding?
I play in that league? Is it a money league?
Give me that league.
So there's a reason why fantasy sports and sports betting as a whole is on the rise, because there's new customers every single season.
Yeah.
God!
I love new fish.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
First off, it ends in a tie. Good job, boys. Secondly,
What do we get with these points?
I'll get y'all a drink.
Scratch
one
on the
day.
back.
I'll pay y'all in Gummer a crisp high five. But I actually had Carr and Waller kind of coming up. The defense kind of does somewhat of a serviceable job again. I don't know what it is about the AFC North that just seems a little crazy to me right now. And maybe it's a week one overreaction, as Karlos just mentioned. But aside from the Browns, that's like an only certainty right now this week. I don't know what to expect from the Steelers. I don't know what to expect from the Ravens, and I don't know what to expect from even the Bengals because it's the Bengals.
I thought the Steelers were going to be bad, but the way that they beat Buffalo,
yeah,
I think they're going under the radar despite the fact people have them.
Why I said this was specifically a miss was because we don't know how bad Buffalo really dropped it.
Right. Are we in agreement that they're still in the number 2 team or not?
Because no, I still think they are.
I think they might be like a 2.5. I really love how Cleveland looked against the Chiefs.
See, the thing was, Cleveland played great, but I think Buffalo just had a bad game. I really think Buffalo just had a bad game.
I think the thing is with Buffalo is that they do not have a running back they can trust, and I think that's
going to hurt them.
That's the worry. Like Zach Moss just pretty much just had he hit an egg. He didn't play. He wasn't
active. I will never touch Singletary again.
And Singletary fumbled twice.
Yeah.
And they lost.
Josh Allen's their best running back.
They lost in a 1-score game.
That's crazy.
Like if you can't protect the ball, I don't know what I could see them maybe trying to make a mid year trade or something like that. Because at the end of the day, running backs can just come in and explode on an offense. Yeah, I love the Browns. I love them going into the year. I'm not like panicking about anything to do with the Bills. I still think they're going to be good, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them this season.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a great session. Yeah. We still miss Nick out here, obviously. He'll be back with us next week, hopefully. And you know what? This was a great session. Yeah. Week 2 coming up. I'm excited for NFL football, guys.
Yep.
I'm committed to full swing.
Watching the entire day Sunday. I missed Sunday. I was out. And I cannot wait to just veg out and watch for 12 hours.
I honestly don't think I'm going to get that until week 3, and I'm very sad about it. Yeah. Anyways, this was the 4 Horsemen, guys. We'll be back for week 3. Take care, and thank you.